Welcome everyone again to this edition of VC Live in person in front of an audience like you. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Prashant Chauhan, who's from ZERO9. Please give a round of applause to Prashant. Have a seat, Prashant. Be comfortable. So, just a brief introduction if you're not aware of Prashant's work. Prashant Chauhan is a multifaceted designer and an architect by qualification. He scales beyond the boundaries of architecture to explore other design disciplines. His belief is design is boundless. I think it's very in touch with what we are going to be talking today, how design is boundless with the help of technology. It forms the very core of what his practice ZERO9 stands for with his partner Anu Chauhan, who's right there. Anu, do you want to raise your hand? Yes. Which effortlessly deals with the projects in architecture, in advertising, interior and exhibition design as well. His zest for innovation has won him recognition in the form of national and international design awards, features in reputed publications, and a host of repeat clients, from picturesque bungalows to soulful interiors, and from high-tech exhibition spaces. He's done everything. Have a seat, Prashant. Thank you for joining in. Yes. All right. Why are we here today? Just a brief introduction about why we are here and why are we talking about smart tech, but beyond automation. I'm sure all of you are aware that it's not just a buzzword, but we are seeing, and even within this space, how technology is revolving all around us, yes, but the integration is now more seamless now than ever, right? But when we're talking about technology, there is a global trend of embedding innovative technologies, even in architecture and design, to create not just complex, but more intuitive, data-driven, responsive, and even sustainable built environments and spaces. From smart visual tools to AI and immersive universes, we have Prashant, who will discuss the efficacy, the challenges that come with working with such innovation. So Prashant, thank you so much. I think you're the apt person to be talking about this, given your interest and given your enthusiasm, and also the way that you function within the realm of technology and AI and automation. So if you can
I think smart is a pretty much done word these days. But of course, what I personally believe that technology has always been the most important driving force behind how we design and how we build.
Right.
It has always been the most essential part. I mean, okay. Right. So I personally believe that technology has always been the driving force behind the way we design and behind the way we build, because age-old practices, right from Vastu Shastra to to the Greek, to medieval, to industrial, to modernism, post-modernism, technology has always guided how we could build things. Right. So that kind of really has defined the kind of architecture, the kind of design, the kind of products, the kind of lifestyle overall. So that's why I think technology is the major driving force. So it's a journey of process, because if you see the same pyramid during a particular age, it would look something like this, and if you see it during another age, it would look like this, and maybe if you look at it in the future, it would be something else completely. But the kind of thought process or the kind of technology, it really kind of defines that what age and what time and age we are in. Very briefly, when we were in a particular era, architects used to have this scale of offices where it would be massive, where you used to have a staff of at least 50 and hundreds, and everybody used to use these large drafting boards, and people used to literally bend their backs, and we used to have all sorts of issues. But then what did technology do? I mean, in 1980s, 85s, we got this beautiful software called CAD, computer aided design. It changed life. I mean, suddenly architects were supposed to know CAD. It was quite mandatory. I mean, so and of course, evolution of lot of softwares, and probably because of that, we as a design practice can afford to have a smaller office like this, the one in the center. So things got more compactor and shrink. Now, post-COVID, we have moved into another era, which is an interesting form again, which is work from home, which is cloud working or remote working, as we would like to call it. So I am pretty much proud to say that since 2020, my entire team works from home.
That's amazing.
And it is interesting because there's a lot of discipline, self-discipline, self-motivation, and a lot of self awareness that what is that kind of timeline, how we connect, how we kind of deliver drawings.
It's interesting how because of technology you were able to do that.
Exactly,
right?
because in a particular say around 2018 or 2017, I used to get a lot of resumes from outstation colleges, and they used to request that, sir, for an interview can we do a video conferencing, and we used to be a little resistant and reluctant that how we will manage that, but I think COVID taught us that, and it taught us really seamlessly.
We were able to adapt.
Exactly, we were really we were forced to adapt, I would say. We were kind of forced to adapt, but then when we adapted, we thought that yes, there is a lot of efficiency out here, because during COVID I remember myself sending a couple of drawings as sketches to my design team, and that sketch was not a photograph, it was a video which I had done a top shot, and I had kind of sketched that this is what I want, how I want to divide these things, how I want to, so an entire electrical layout explained to my team, and for them it would be as if they are sitting right in front of me. Now this gave me an idea that, I can do the same thing on an iPad and project it to their screen, and it kind of just becomes very seamless, and things have kind of changed. We've moved our servers to say Google Drive, we've moved things, cloud computing, and all of that has come into picture. So I think that really has changed the way we work, right from what it could have been, and it has been. So I would really believe that work smart and not hard. So that's the motto of our team as well. When I said that the AutoCAD came in or CAD came in, there was a lot of resistance, and I came across a very interesting article in 1999 which said that our computer is going to replace architects, or so all that kind of fear and those kind of fearful articles. I mean, even if you scan this article right now, you can find out that how.
See if you can scan the QR code maybe and access the article.
Of course you can. So that's the fun of technology. I mean, I really don't need to scroll that entire thing. I can have a QR code for you to scan. So, and today, very surprisingly, I see the similar articles for AI. Because a lot of architects are kind of a little hesitant and scared, and there's a little resistance.
There's a discussion for sure.
Exactly, there's a little resistance, I feel, but I think eventually that will also go past, and we'll kind of come to a middle ground where we start using that on a regular basis. So interestingly, out here there are a couple of names mentioned like Frank Gehry, Zaha Hadid, and Peter Eisenman. So these are, I think, the pioneers where they changed the face of design by using these computational softwares. And I think Zaha Hadid has been the most iconic designer or architect who kind of really brought that computational change, because without CAD or without those computational softwares, these designs were definitely not possible. I mean, it would have taken ages either, or it would have taken years, or it would, so basically, it kind of just made things very much possible. So I think that is fantastic to kind of take an inspiration from. So my question still remains that, are we thinking smart? I mean, a very interesting quote says that all the biggest technological innovations are usually kind of speaks the volume of human laziness. I mean, frankly, we are pretty lazy that we don't go to the office and we work from home, but that's the beauty of technology. I mean, you can actually do that, So although I would say that yes, technology kind of supports you, but of course it can make you lazy, it can tend to drag into a different direction also.
There is a compromise of sorts,
of course,
if not laziness, because laziness again is something that's subjective.
Pretty much. And then my question is that, are we thinking smart in terms of logical and ecological? I mean, that is another aspect that we need to think about, because see, technology can kind of keep innovating, but at what cost and how much impact on earth? That also has to be kind of taken care of. I think we found a very interesting middle ground for this work from home pattern, purely because we figured that every day the team doesn't have to travel, so they are not contributing to pollution. B, they are kind of saving their own personal time. C, they were more efficient because we start at 9 AM in the morning, fresh. And I think I get one of the best works done between 9 to 11, And I think then the day kind of can stretch on, and you know, it can just, but that 9 to 11, the brainstorming and the kind of vibe that we have, even when we are sitting apart, it just is amazing. And I think I really feel that energy every day morning. So it's fantastic. And the best part is that can happen even when I'm traveling.
Right.
So I really don't need to go for that breakfast early morning. I can still be at the hotel room or at the site, and I can do my meets. And I can just, you know, charge the team. We kind of ignite the passion again, and it kind of just can, you know, move further the way it is. So these are a few interesting examples. I mean, if you see the timeline, it was around 1997, and how very interestingly we came up with the solar kitchen, and fantastically just using simple technologies of solar panels, I mean solar reflectors, and utilizing it for fuel, and you know, kind of generating that entire, I mean, if Auroville, if you have a chance to kind of just visit this place, it's amazing. I mean, the way
Auroville was one of the first eco villages in India to
exactly
emerge, to use renewable sources, renewable energy sources.
Exactly. And this is an inspirational space actually, because of the volume of people when you see there. It is absolutely tremendous, the kind of work they are generating. So because you know, and plus also minimizing food wastage. That is another very important aspect, because any sort of resource wastage is not so great. I mean, it's eventually a harmful situation for the planet. But that's kind of a very beautiful example. As I was already saying, that Zaha Hadid did what we actually could not imagine way back in 1800s or 1900s, and even I think till 1950. But this is what happened, and this is what happened in 2012. I would not be commenting upon the kind of you know, the design choice and all of that. That is something which is, of course, the architect's definition for it. But the sheer volume, I mean, just building that entire curved surface which is even touchable, I mean, and you can, you know, make it as a part of the roof. That itself is kind of a sheer excitement in terms of its form and its kind of technological factors. And this was an entirely, I mean, probably one of the first parametric designs which kind of came into, and I think that kind of gave rise to a full new genre of design. And that's again Al Bahar Towers, Abu Dhabi, done by Heydar, and similar timeline, 2012. And here again, the inspiration is from the flower, how the flower petals kind of, you know, bloom and kind of just shrink down. So that's the innovation which they have done. And again, this is simply by a very simple system applied onto the building called building automation system. So this kind of just, again, so parametric building automation system, these are like very simple changes done to that existing buildings, but a very important and drastic, I would say, movement for the future. I mean, setting a very good example, I would say, because again, it kind of responds to the climate. The minute there is sun on it, sun hits on it, it kind of deflects that yes, I need to shut down, or I need to, you know, kind of open up.
So it's smart as well. It is able to acclimatize to, depending on the temperature, depending on the environment.
So now imagine that this is not anymore a dead building; it's a living being. You know, it breathes. So
it's an organism.
Exactly. So that's the beauty of this one. So similarly, there is a lot of interesting technologies these days which help you during the design process. Right from BIM, which is the building information modeling, as an information technology, and basically it kind of just manages the entire information, that how much the light would penetrate into the building. If you're using, say, a glass facade on a particular wall, how much would be the heat gain, how much would you know, how much it would reduce your you know, AC requirement or stuff like that. So by just changing a particular material, you'll immediately get the values. So these are informations which are immediately available on computational softwares now. And of course, another parallel aspect of this for built structures is making a digital twin, which is similar process, but then you just make a digital twin of a building. And say, for example, you have a heritage site, say a palace or a school or an old library, and you want to study and make it more energy efficient. So how you could do it? Probably with a digital twin. So, you know, these are similar technologies again, but then it helps you increase the efficiency of a building. So that's another technology that is available now. Another very interesting thing which I also saw at the Godrej stall was IoT, and Internet of Things is another big thing now these days, with you know, all sorts of data available. Your weather is setting down, you are about to get a, you know, a cloud burst, or you're about to get, say, a hurricane. All these information is already available with us, and say proximity sensors, or you know, gyroscopes and stuff like that. I mean, today if I shoot from my phone, I shoot a video, it would be pretty smooth, but way back in 2010 and 12, it would probably have not been smooth because there was no gyroscope, but now there is. So, you know, it kind of just pans like a pro. Exactly. So that's beautiful IoT which is already available, and there is a very interesting software called IFTTT. So if this, then that. So it kind of just automates things like that. So these are very interesting technology. Again, enhances the quality of living. Very important task, because I used to already feel that, you know, we are not innovating in materials. I mean, there is a little stagnancy in materials, which I used to feel, because I felt that beyond a point, I mean, beyond steel, concrete, maybe glass, we've stopped. कुछ नया material आया नहीं है. So, you know, it kind of just made me do my own research.
But isn't that नया material आया नहीं है, or we haven't really been thinking about innovation, because these are easily available products and they're also cost effective.
And they have become a part of the new way of building, because it is very easy. I mean, if we today approach any local teams when we work outstations like, say, Goa or Shahpur, or, you know, say Khopoli, any of these sites, when we approach the local teams and we ask them that, you know, हमको ना ऐसा पत्थर में घर बनाने का है, so they will always think, नहीं नहीं, बहुत महंगा पड़ेगा. So, you know, because they have practically,
there's a perception already.
Exactly, they have practically now got into the groove of building with concrete and bricks and mortar and simple. So, you know, they know that RCC का framework बनेगा and that is it. So we have kind of corrupted them to a certain extent, but that corruption has got into the materials also. I mean, beyond that, because of overselling and over marketing and all of that, we've kind of never felt the necessity to probably innovate. But there are research parallelly going on smart concrete, which is very interesting, because this is self-healing concrete. It has little pores into it, as in the minute it touches water, it can self-heal. So all the cracks can get filled up. So this is something that I am really excited to explore now. Then there is, of course, shape-shifting materials, which can come in really handy when building, say, a bridge, or in cases of hurricane and, you know, such extreme weathers, where say, imagine that a building or a form can actually shape shift and sway, and, you know, kind of just bring itself back to form whenever so it's like a tree which is swaying, you know, a tree which sways survives, and a tree which doesn't sway, of course, falls down. So, you know, it's a shape-shifting material, and which kind of really makes me excited to kind of explore further about this. Then, of course, there are self-healing coats which are pretty much available now with kitchens, with cars, all of this. So these are, I mean, you have a scratch on it and you just rub a finger on it and it eventually self-heals. So that's another interesting thing. Another exciting material that I am looking forward to is transparent wood, because these are out of the same balsa wood pulp. And it just adds a nice, as in just adding a few resins, they are making it transparent. So imagine having a wall, a partition wall made in your interiors, and you can also draw light from it. And you really don't need to really install a glass out there, because eventually glass is also made out of silica.
But does it have the properties of wood, like the sturdiness and the...
Yes, exactly, because it's eventually wood. So that's why they're calling it transparent wood. And of course, something that I'm really proud of, especially because it's an Indian company, Carbon Craft has developed this carbon tiles, which I feel is one of the fantastic innovations of our times, because they use pollution from the, as in they use the pollution as their raw material, and they kind of change that into tiles. Beautiful. I mean, just the way they have thought about it is fantastic, and I think I really look forward to them to kind of, you know, develop more products on that range, because it is, I think a very good balance from taking the pollution and converting into a.
It's not just an experiment. They've
Exactly.
actually tried to make
Yeah, of
something
course.
tangible
They're pretty much available commercially as well.
Yes,
So that's a fantastic thing from their part actually. Very interesting. Now we are entering into the fun zone of design because we are in between. We are in that era where we've seen all that hand drawing and all of that. We've come to CAD. We've moved on to 3D. We've come on to wearing a headset and seeing things. And this exactly will change the way we do it because AR, augmented reality is also, it's very simple. You kind of have a QR code or a particular image, and the minute you point from your mobile phone, you can overlay a particular design on it. Say it could be a 3D, it could be your sketches or rendering or a video, anything of that sort. We are already using it, like filters on Snapchat and Instagram and all of that.
A lot of retail brands especially have been experimenting with this.
So retail brand is now bringing a concept of smart windows. So if you see this central image, it's like a smart window. And again, if you want to see this video, you can scan this and see it later. But this is fantastic because it changes the way you shop. The minute you pass by the window, you will see yourself wearing a particular jacket, which is trending, which is the hot pick of the season. So imagine you being the mannequin and you seeing yourself out there, and that's the most fascinating thing.
You should check this out whenever you get the chance because it's by, of course, while it is a luxury experience, but the way that the transition is also so quick. You can change the customer's mind in an instant. No longer do you have to entice the customer to through a VM display to say, listen, these are some beautiful products.
So Amazon, Tommy Hilfiger, all of them have actually kind of got into all this. And I don't think it is just limited to luxury now. It is slowly getting into every sort of retail because smart windows is, say in another 1.5-2 years, we'll be seeing it in Mumbai also. I am sure there is definitely something at Jio also which definitely is doing AR. I still have to explore it, but that's another exciting area because this completely changes the way you shop. It would ensure that I just don't even pick up a red jacket, but maybe I should try that yellow one or the blue one or the grey one or the so it kind of gives me the option right then and there, and probably I could even skip the trial room, so it kind of just and maybe I don't want to try all of them, but I want to try that one particular color and then take it to the trial room. So it kind of changes your again, your store sizes would go compact.
That's true.
Your real
that's
real
the challenge. That's where the challenge for the architect comes in, right? How do you adapt with these evolving technologies?
And I think if we are not aware of these technologies, we will not be able to adapt. Because the minute a client will come in with a request that I want to display a jewelry in AR, and you need to do a small retail, and where a customer can actually change that. And so now you don't need thousands, as in say hundreds of sets physically being displayed. You can actually display that within a small box, and you can just keep picking options right then and there. And holographic projections, AR, all of this can actually do this. I have seen myself a Hublot watch in a display, and it looks so real that it just kind of changes the way you want to actually you want to literally pick it up. That's the beauty of this. And again, the next phase of design, which would be VR. A lot of us are still using it, but I think it will drastically change the minute Apple Vision Pro comes into the market and makes it easily accessible and available. Right now, a lot of designers are using the small this thing where you insert your phone in the VR set and use it. So that's a pretty cheapest technology which is available now at the moment. But this is virtual reality to the next level. And when I say next level, it is this. So parallelly, we are trying to build Luke's Verse, which is a metaverse in a retail shop in Metaverse, which is going to be like a mall where you enter inside and you create this fun, wonderful experiences, and then you have all sorts of brands, right from say a Godrej to so everybody would be kind of be a part of that mall. And say if I'm building a home, I just have to enter into that metaverse, and I'm just done. I see all sorts of rugs, furniture, all sorts of material, tile, marble, everything is available in that metaverse, and kind of just changes the way you shop also, because this has already come into fashion, by the way.
Yes,
a lot of fashion brands have already been a part of such malls. I think it's the time for us to kind of now get into this one.
You said you were currently working on this.
Yes, we are developing this.
Okay. Is this for a client in India, or is it
No,
for
this is something which is a passion project now.
It's a passion project, that's great.
So this is something that we are trying it out now.
Okay.
And I think we are kind of going to launch it pretty soon now.
Great,
so that we kind of develop
Looking
this.
forward to
of course.
getting into
Metaverse.
being comfortable with an immersive environment like Metaverse.
I think the most easiest transition will happen only once the Apple Vision Pro comes in, because till now all the VR sets are a little tiresome. Why I say tiresome is because the minute you wear it for say 5 to 10 minutes,
it disorients.
You kind of feel disoriented.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of take it off.
Right.
But the minute Apple comes in, it kind of changes because it has already done that research. So Apple is very well known for late entry geniuses, because they always enter late into the market, but they are amazingly genius. So they kind of just do all their back-end research, all their trial and errors, and everything is done.
Yeah.
And once they know that yes, now they are ready, that is when they will announce that particular product. So I think with Apple Vision Pro, what we are going to be actually experiencing is MR. It is not going to be AR, it is not going to be VR anymore, it's going to be a mixed reality.
Mixed reality, right.
So augmented reality meets virtual reality, and it kind of becomes a mixed reality. And it also kind of changes the way you compute.
Right.
So what Vision Pro is going to do is it's going to be a computer which is attached on your face. As simple as that. So that's why it is so expensive, but it's going to be a computer.
Not sure whether to be afraid by that or excited by that or both at once, but yes, go ahead.
So the resistance always is there. Resistance is always there to technology. So the minute you talk about a new technology, there's always a human reaction to kind of be a little resistant that what next, So it is kind of creepy also at times. But then what I would see is a lot of possibilities for us designers, because now imagine that you're working on 10 different windows. I mean, you can probably see something out here. This is not Vision Pro, but so now you're probably working on 5 different windows which are open. And trust me, I know all the designers, nobody works on single tab. I know that for sure. I can guarantee on that. We are all fantastic multitaskers.
Yes.
We will have some songs playing somewhere. We will have something out here as a as a chat window. We'll have an AutoCAD drawing. We'll have a SketchUp drawing. We have all these multiple things, and now all I need to do is just move my neck from year to year, and I'm on the next window. So everything is open. Everything is still there, and this is not just MR. This is spatial computing. So this is where you can actually feel that you are your entire space is a computer, a large computer. The entire world is a computer, and now you can do things just with hand gestures and eye controls. I mean, you can actually just look at a particular thing and it gets selected. So imagine, the level of detail that Apple has got into. I mean, now they are not working with those joysticks which Meta had released and all of that. So now they're all done with that, and with just simple gestures, hand gestures, and just your retina movements, they can actually make out that what you want to do. So technology has become more intuitive, I would say, and more, I would say, easy to adapt. Because of course, when it kind of comes into such level, it becomes easier, and you feel that this has always been a part of me. I mean, the minute iPhone came into
you don't have to educate yourself or spend time in educating yourself in being
with a lot of Meta products and the earlier VR sets, there used to be a challenge because you had to learn it. You had to always define a boundary, that this is the boundary where I want to build, or this is the boundary where I want to start my design or start my something. But out here, it's going to completely change the way you think. So that's why I'm kind of really looking forward to it. And of course, the most talked about thing these days in AI is the generative AI. So AI, as we know, as we don't know, has 2 aspects of it. One is ANI and one is AGI. So we are still in the phase of ANI. ANI is more of the artificial natural intelligence, because it is like, for example, if you go to Midjourney and if you type a few prompts, you are bound to receive some images, whether that is graphics.
That are close enough to what you want.
Correct. So similarly, on these kind of prompts, you can generate music, you can generate text, ChatGPT, you can generate images. So these are the 3 segments at the moment. and ANI is right now in its kind of learning phase. What scientists are aiming, interestingly, is AGI. Now AGI is general, general artificial intelligence, where an artificial intelligence would be able to think. So today you're prompting it. AGI is the phase where you will not want to kind of prompt it. It will kind of get to know your thought processes and probably generate things and make things more easier for
almost
you.
Algorithmically.
And it has been also getting trained for emotions. So that's of course again scary, but yeah, imagine it is scary because imagine the technology feels that you are not listening to its command, to its answers, and you're not responding. It might even hurt you.
It might even become sentient.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
You don't want it to take over your life, but it does sound exciting for sure, because especially when it comes to the possibilities that you can do with design.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You're not just creating with that technology; you're collaborating with that technology.
Exactly.
Right?
So in as I would say, Midjourney. I mean, we are constantly exploring concepts and design ideas because, frankly, Pinterest was a particular phase. I think now it has come to generative AI, which is the phase, because today a client can sit on say Clip Drop, Midjourney, Stable Diffusion, any of these, LookX these days, lookx.ai. So these are few concepts that we generated for a client, for a farmhouse, and obviously these are the images which you will never see or feel on a Pinterest, but we could generate this because we knew that what kind of prompts we were giving in. We knew that what we wanted an actual forest, and we wanted that exactly, but you will not find this on Pinterest, and that's why we could kind of make the client visualize that we want to do this and not a typical farmhouse and not a typical bungalow. And because otherwise you'll find either this or that, and you'll not be able to merge both of them. So that's the kind of generative AI we could play around with. Just not really deep diving into what the cheat sheet of Midjourney is, but it kind of works on a particular set of prompts. It's very simple. I mean, once you learn it, it's like maths for us. So you set up the aspect.
How many of you, just by show of hands, have worked on Midjourney? How many of you? Few. Okay, all right.
So basically, it's pretty easy to kind of adapt. I mean, it's pretty intuitive, I would say, that way. And once you set up a few things like say the camera angle or editorial style or a particular photographic style, time of the day, aspect ratio, all of this.
Even details like texture, color palette, brand also.
Exactly. Right? So certain brands, of course, like if you say Gucci, it knows that Gucci has a particular design style. Patterns, if you say Ferragamo, it knows that it has to be. So I have been fooling around, and I have even generated pots, WCs around these brands, and it's pretty fun because you kind of see that if Ferragamo had to design a pot, how
what would it look like?
Exactly. So that's really fun to kind of explore. And of course, LookX is pretty much focused purely on architecture, because that kind of is developed only for architects and interior designers, and of course you have Clip Drop and all of that also. Interestingly, this is all about what we design, but technology is also where we kind of build. So this is where it becomes more interesting, because I personally feel that we as an industry are the most waste generating industry, and it's mainly because of raw material, because the minute you call for a raw material, obviously you'll have leftovers, you'll have stuff which is wasted and stuff like that. 3D printed buildings, on the other hand, kind of minimizes waste. Second thing, it is technologically very fast. I mean, you could print the same building in maybe 1/10 of the time, or maybe even 1/20th, depending on the complexity of the building. And of course, once you have this built, you can always add in. So these are the columns where you kind of add in the reinforcements and stuff like that. So these are just placing a robot in the center of the space, and you just start printing it. So it's like a large printer, and it kind of just does the magic overnight, and of course not overnight, but in some span of time. So 3D printed buildings are next thing, and it has caught up all across the world. I think India is also kind of moving now. There are a few brands which are already providing this technology here in India.
That's right, in India, right.
And robotic construction. So 3D printed is where you have a paste kind of, the paste kind of lays rightly. But if you don't want that and you want your building to be made in bricks or blocks, so that is also possible with robotic engineering and is robotic construction.
Right.
Where again it's an arm which just kind of you load all the blocks here, and with a pulley it kind of just keeps dropping and placing it there. It's like a child who would set up the bricks and just a large robot doing it. Exactly. So that is again a very interesting technology which of course relates to your CAD and CAM, so computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacturing.
Right.
And this is the most exciting one. I mean, I have seen this in live. In Dubai, and one of my friend owns it, and he's integrated this into their computational software, which kind of can go to the site, inspect the site, monitor the site completely. There is a camera in the face of this, I would say, a Robo-Dog. It's like a Robo-Dog, and it's very interesting to kind of see it walking. I definitely recommend everyone to scan this so that you can see the video, because this video is excellent. I mean, you want to keep watching it again and again, what it can do. And of course, it can talk back to the office. It can kind of report from the site itself, and it can of course analyze if there is any danger. So it knows that it cannot go beyond this particular boundary. It cannot step this. It can climb steps. It can kind of change floors. It can go to from one level to the other. This is absolutely exciting and very fascinating. This is where I would say the robots have entered into our periphery, and now we should be all prepared to have a robot standing in one of the exhibitions here and there, or a retail store serving
maybe
us
an
ice
idea
cream.
For the Godrej locks team for sure.
Exactly. In fact, in Abu Dhabi, I had experienced one ice cream store which was absolutely zero manned.
Right.
Just one robot.
Right.
I could select the menu as in I could select the particular flavor of the ice cream, and the robot would kind of bring it and serve it to me the minute I've done my payment.
Right.
So robots have kind of entered.
Right.
and now it's time that we kind of either embrace the technology or kind of be resistant still. But till what time will you be resistant? So you eventually will kind of embrace them and make them a part of your design process, your building process, your I think your daily lifestyle also, because slowly and steadily you will eventually kind of move into that direction. So I think this is what I had to kind of offer in the exciting realm of technology these days. I'm sure this will be outdated in the next 15 days.
Maybe not 15 days, but we can be hopeful that maybe some of this would be exciting to see, at least in the realm of Indian architecture and design.
Of course, yes, of course, 100%.
Yeah, but thank you so much for a really insightful presentation. I think I have learned quite a bit from you. I have known you for years, and I have seen your journey not just as a designer and an architect, but someone who is genuinely a proponent for integration of technology in the way that we design. I just have a couple of questions for you, and then we can open it out to people here as well. One of the things that I've been thinking about, and while you were speaking as well, was it's nice to see all of this. I think these are all, of course, global observations, global trends. I wanted to understand from you, and with your interactions with clients, right? How open are they with, like for instance, you showed one example of you using generative AI, right? But how open are they with maybe experimenting with 3D or experimenting with other technology that can be integrated as part of their life, whether commercial or residential?
I think clients are pretty much open to exploring. So there is absolutely no resistance that I have faced as of now, because they are.
But even in commercial spaces like retail,
very much, very much. In fact, they are more keen to know that what can we do new.
Right.
How can we create that buzzword, or how can we kind of create some excitement, or how can we get new eyeballs, So that has always been a case with a lot of clients.
Right.
I really haven't come across any client who's technologically resistant.
Right.
I mean, even my clients these days are doing video calls with me.
Right. But the reason why I'm asking is because while it is not really new in terms of a trend, there has been a significant shift, right, in the last decade or so. So I wanted, maybe from your experience, right, what has contributed to that shift? From people maybe adapting to traditional interiors, like for instance, there used to be a time when India had homogenized interiors, right?
True.
सबके पास एक तरह का बेड था, सबके पास एक तरह का कबर्ड था, सबके पास एक तरह का किचन सेटअप था.
Correct.
Right. So, in your experience, what has contributed that shift towards people adapting to this okay, you know what, it's time to embrace that technology?
I would say internet definitely played a very, 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 very big role into changing the way people think.
Right.
Second thing that really changed the perspectives was travel. Global travels becoming easily accessible. Changed a lot of your perspective for people to go abroad, explore. People were very much aware these days that oh, मुझे Moroccan style चाहिए, मुझे तो European यही चाहिए, मुझे तो Danish चाहिए.
Right.
You know, I mean, people know that what Scandinavian is and what is Japandi and what is minimalism, and this could not be expected in 1980s at all. 1990s also probably, but in 2000s, yes, definitely. In 2010, 100%, and 2020, so you have to give a full credit to the client that he knows much better than you. Trust me, the client is so well traveled, so well exposed, so well learned that they have actually kind of, you know, gone around the world, and if the client is coming to you, they know that why they are coming to you. They have done their all.
Obviously, I mean, that's what I wanted to come to, right? Because obviously your process of visualization has also changed, right?
Yes.
No longer are you doing this yourself. You are doing this in collaboration with the client. The client is giving you useful input.
Very much.
Right? So I think, yes, you can give credit to the fact that your visualization, your collaboration process has also evolved in the process.
Very much. Absolutely. In fact, at all our projects, we always put the client's thoughts in the center and then, you know, build around it.
Right.
So we kind of value add to their thoughts.
Right.
That if this is your thought, we want to kind of, you know, ensure that this also happens, so you kind of get a more better value. You do this and you'll get more value, you know. So we've always built around their thoughts. We've never kind of, see, I personally also believe that we are not artists where we could make an art and sign on it and put it on sale. We are not artists. So we are eventually architects. We are kind of there to facilitate, to service provide, to kind of, you know, ensure that that entire home building or, you know, whatever building journey is smoothened, is kind of, we are kind of facilitators. So we kind of smoothen the entire process for them because that's our qualification, that's our expertise. So that kind of completely defines that, okay, I know that you've traveled, you've learned this is what your style is, but I think this particular thing will not probably go well with this, and because you're thinking too many things, I know how to narrow it down and still get you the essence. So that is how we kind of now have started adding value to the client's thoughts.
Speaking of adding value, you're not just adding value to your clients. You spoke in the beginning as to how you decided very consciously to go remote. Right. However, that might not be a choice for most design practices, most architectural practices, maybe interior design to a certain extent, maybe, but for most architectural practices that might not be an option for whatever reasons. Maybe can you give words of advice here as to why do you think remote working aided by technology is definitely not just the future, it is now. It is time to maybe embrace that even more. Can you maybe offer some words of wisdom here?
I am pretty much not that capable of offering words of wisdom, but yes, I can speak from experience that this is now, as you rightly said, not the future now, because I think remote working has still been happening. I mean, people have been just not accepting that it is remote working, but even when
I'm saying remote working aided by technology.
Correct. But even when the large offices had, you know, a design office team, they had a site team as well, and the internal coordination would happen remotely only. So the site team would never visit the office daily, or the office team would never visit the site daily. So it was kind of remote. But now that it has become technological and more easy, today probably a site team does not need to go to physically see the site, and can be shown the site on, say, videos or VC or something like that, and things can still be easy. And probably the site team does not need to go to the office and to explain a particular drawing, because that can be done on, say, again, VC, where they can actually share their screen on, say, video or sketch it out and stuff like that, and it can still be happening. So I think technology is definitely there. The next step of going completely remote is a drastic step that we have taken, I think, for personal reasons, because I think we found a lot of I would say family time, me time, or a more better lifestyle, I would say. Because now we know that by 6:30 we wind up the day. Earlier we used to stretch it till 8:30 and 9, and by default, and then again we used to get into the mad rush of traffic to kind of reach a home which would be 7 minutes on a regular timelines, but even 45 minutes during monsoons or during heavy traffics and stuff like that. So imagine why waste that kind of time. That is what I personally thought, and I had to kind of convince my wife on that, and kind of brainwash her that we need to do this because this is a great way of life. I mean, and today I think that really helps us because, say, if we are traveling, the office team is not disturbed. The functioning still remains the same. So the teams know what they have to do, how they have to do. Even if I'm in Dubai, I can kind of wake up there at 7:30 and I can kind of do my team meetings, which is here at 9 a.m. And I can still, give them a feel that I'm still there. So, it kind of just changes the way you want to kind of integrate this and make it a part of your own. So I think it's just a matter of time.
And choices.
Exactly, choices.
And if you can adapt to those choices.
Very much. I know a few friends internationally in Delhi, a few of them have already adapted to it, but not many of them. Some of them still have that resistance. In fact, this gives us a lot of flexibility also, because now going to a site physically, practically every day is not required, because then you can have one person who's stationed there, and as in he or she travels daily to that site, and then they are kind of managing the site completely. So then their only task is to go back home and go to the site. That's it. So then they have to kind of just be the eyes and ears at the site for us, and kind of revert to us. So that's it's pretty much doable, I feel.
I'm going to hold. I mean, I totally see that. I mean, I'm also someone who used to work full time, at an office, used to commute every day to an office. Still, I think the pandemic was a big decision maker for me, or at least helped me influence that decision to say, listen, you don't have to spend half your life commuting anymore, especially in a city like Bombay. So yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Pandemic was a good big punch on our faces.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I think because of that, I think that really truly tested the way we not just saw solutions in terms of course, environmentally, ecologically, socio-economically, but also using technology efficiently.
Correct.
In order to
And imagine this same pandemic would have happened in, say, 2010. We would have been collapsed.
Been a different
because
story,
we didn't have, we didn't probably use Skype that well at that point of time, where we knew it. That there is something called as Skype. We used to use it only for interacting with friends.
Yes, that's true.
But Zoom in 2020 just shot up because of this, and we all came to know about Zoom only because of pandemic, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, Just lastly, and then I'll open it out if anyone else has questions. I think I'm someone who's a tech noob. I'm not someone who, while I'm okay with, I'm using an iPad right now to converse with you, but AGI is something that sounds really exciting, Prashant. I'm just curious to know, how do you see AGI and the relationship with architects and designers, because you talked about how you can truly create an immersive work environment. Couple of things that came to my mind was, okay, the architect is creating something that is immersive, but is there a fear, or is there a notion of you losing that tactileness of being on site, or of interacting with people, or even like having to be there in person to check materials, or check something that needs that tactileness, right? So is that ever a concern or a fear, you think, with the introduction of this mixed reality as a concept?
At the moment, yes. But in about 5 years, no. Because I see that in future we would be having those kind of tactile gadgets as well. I mean, they are already there, but they are used only for, all the technology comes from defense to the reality, so it's already there. So I don't know whether I should be saying this, but DRDO has already kind of developed mices that can get into any territories, do the scan, survey the entire place, and come back safely without anybody realizing that
they've been. I'm scared to think what we could do with that.
Surveyed, exactly. So DRDO has already. So DRDO is like one temple for me to kind of keep researching on them. So it kind of just brings you to. These are possible, pretty much possible things in near future, not even distant future, near future. So I really don't think there is much of a challenge.
I'm curious to know what, because you are a tech enthusiast and you're someone who is, someone who's actually practicing what you preach in a way. I'm curious to know what scares you as someone who, you know, who uses a lot of this technology and who's researched a lot of this technology. I'm curious to know what is your
I think I am only scared of hacking.
Of hacks, right.
Exactly. I mean, that's very easy these days to get hacked, you know. And I think that's the only thing that I fear, that, you know, everywhere you need to do that two-factor authentication so that you're not hacked. So that is, of course, our website has been hacked quite a few times, so we know how to get out of that. But I mean, that's something that I think is always a technological barrier for me to kind of get irritated with that part. I mean, because I would not say fear, but irritation.
Because so where I'm coming from is, another thing that came to my mind was this whole thing of authorship and ownership, right? When you're creating something with models, when you're creating something with AI, when you're creating something with anything smart where the contribution is from the tech, you are just feeding in prompts and it's created by tech. Where does the ownership lie? And is that ever like a blur? Is that constantly going to be a blurred line?
Of course, there's going to be a blurred line. And in fact, we kind of have always been very clear that this is generated on AI.
As long as you claim that.
As simple as that. I mean, I don't know whether you've received a couple of our seasonal greetings which says generated on AI. So it is as simple as that. So you know, we've been doing that shamelessly and writing it also, that this is generated on AI.
But it's transparent as well.
Exactly.
So we appreciate the
so that's completely on your this thing. Of course, if I show you that 3D and say that I have made it, I mean, I have not made, I don't even know 3D software. So where am I going to make that all? But of course, you need to kind of give technology its due and ensure that, you know, it's put in its right place. So I think once that is done, you're kind of pretty sorted that way. But yes, you're right. There could be misuses. Of course, see, technology, when it comes, there is always use and misuse, abuse, all of that. It depends on how whether you use that nuclear power for bombing or whether you use that nuclear power for development.
Or whether you need another tech solution to solve the tech problem.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much, Prashant. On that note, any questions or any comments from any one of you? Any questions?
I have a very interesting ending slide. So I definitely believe that technology is there. Technology is going to be kind of always dominate our thought process, I would say. But then eventually technology is a brainchild of human. So as I say, one machine can do the job of 50 ordinary men, but no machine can do the job of one extraordinary person. So we need to decide that whether we are out there or whether we are out there. So, you know, we kind of have to define that whether technology is using us or we are using the technology. And how we kind of take this entire transition to develop a concrete jungle or a real jungle.
No, that's why I like why you used that picture of I mean, it is an interesting conversation in itself.
And that is also generated on AI.
Also generated on AI. All right. On that note, Prashant, sorry, any questions? No questions from anyone? Okay. Thank you so much, Prashant,
for
being a part of this. A round of applause for Prashant. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your expertise. And that's it from...
I really know, I know that everybody is kind of a little hesitant to ask questions in front of so many people. So if you all have any questions, you all want to pop into me and just ask, please feel free. I am available around. So please feel free to come directly to me and ask questions. It's absolutely fine.
Please do that. So maybe after we close, you can do that. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this session of VC Live. If you'd like to be a part of the next sessions, we do this online. This is a continuing series. This series has been curated by me, Sneha Ulal, and my partner, Mrinani Garyok. We are both passionate about design and architecture, but the reason why we did this was to inform a community like you. A lot of times we don't have that many resources. Yes, we have Google, yes, we have internet, yes, we have smart tech, but you know, sometimes we need to bring this closer. This is an opportunity to bring this closer to you. So maybe join us next time for our Zoom live sessions. And for now, thank you, Prashant. You can interact with him after the session closes. So thanks everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.